What is the gender pay gap? The gender pay gap is the difference between women's and men's average earnings. But it's not as simple as just paying women less. There are different types of pay gaps, and they exist for a range of different reasons. The national gender pay gap, pay gaps within industries or occupations, and pay gaps within organisations. The national gender pay gap is an indicator of women's overall position in the workforce. Australia's national gender pay gap has hovered between 14% and 19% for the past 2 decades and is calculated using Australian Bureau of Statistics survey data that covers the workforce in the public and private sectors in Australia. The Workplace Gender Equality Agency also conducts an annual census collecting pay data from private sector organisations with 100 or more employees. The agency also collects data on additional payments such as superannuation, bonuses and other discretionary pay. This pay gap shows an even greater disparity between men and women. Every industry in Australia has a pay gap favouring full-time working men, even female-dominated industries like healthcare and social assistance. The same is true for occupational categories, especially in all levels of management. Most organisations have an organisation-wide gender pay gap. This is the difference between the average earnings of women and men across the entire organisation. In some instances, women and men performing work of equal or comparable value are not paid equally. This is unlawful in Australia. But this isn't the whole picture. Even when organisations meet their legal requirement and address instances of unequal pay, they are often surprised to learn that they have a gender pay gap. This arises when comparing the average pay of men and women across entire position levels or categories, from graduates to senior leadership. Organisations don't set out to create gender pay gaps, but they persist. Common causes include discrimination and bias in hiring, promotion and pay decisions, including starting salaries, bonuses and pay rises. Undervaluation of women's competencies. The motherhood penalty impacting career progression. Having fewer women in leadership and operational roles. A lack of workplace flexibility to accommodate caring and other responsibilities. Research shows that addressing workplace gender equality is not only the right thing to do, but it's the smart thing to do. It can reduce staff turnover, improve morale and productivity, improve reputation, and increase company profitability. There are all sorts of policies and practices you can implement to tackle the gender pay gap and improve the experience of all employees, women and men. To find out if your organisation has a gender pay gap and what you can do to address it, download the agency's Gender Pay Gap Calculator and Pay Equity Guide. For more information and resources, visit the WGEA website.